Live from the same dingy, dark bunker you're used to seeing every day on the Daily Caller Show. This is your week in review. My name is Joe Bob. That is Anthony, and we're going to be discussing the news of the day. We still don't have, actually, the news of the week. We still don't have a theme song, so da-da-da-da-da-da. Ta-da.
What do you think it's like doing a colonoscopy on the president?
I don't know. Is that a dream of yours?
No, somebody did one today.
Yeah, somebody. I guess you're right.
Like
somebody
is it different? Like that's a high pressure colonoscopy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, the anesthesiologist too. The guy there or gal. They let females be doctors too.
Yeah.
Having to put the president of the United States under that's pretty risky.
Follow-up question.
Yeah.
What percent of is it a higher ratio of males that do colonoscopies?
In terms
the
of
doctors,
male doctors?
the doctors.
I don't know.
Is that I don't know if doctors are 50-50. I don't know what the ratio is. It's probably close to 50-50.
Yeah.
Is it 70%?
Hit us in the comment section if you know the answer to whether or not most colonoscopy doctors are in fact men. Let us know. We'd love to know about that. I think we should probably talk about something actually important.
Yeah, let's do that.
Ish. Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted of all charges just a couple hours ago from Kenosha, Wisconsin. If you don't recall, you're living under a rock. What are you doing?
We got it right.
Yeah, no, we didn't get it right. They got it right. But if you've been under a rock for some reason, I'm sorry, Jeff. I think you realize this is much more informal than the Daily Caller live show. But Jeff says, "Mine is a woman." LOL.
Can we do a poll? Can we have a live poll going?
Yeah, let's see who else has had a colonoscopy, and can you tell us if your colonoscopy doctor was the opposite sex? Because women also get colonoscopies.
I would.
Was your doctor the opposite sex that did your colonoscopy? Jeff's said his is a woman, and said LOL. I appreciate that, Jeff. So Kyle Rittenhouse murder trial. Yeah. That's a smooth transition. So he's off. So Kyle Rittenhouse got acquitted of murder. He got acquitted of everything. He was being charged with murder and a couple counts, I think, of reckless endangerment, but got acquitted by a jury in Kenosha, Wisconsin, because clearly it was a self-defense thing. I had a couple interesting people reach out to me because I posted about it the second it happened, and a bunch of people reached out and they had no idea of any of the actual evidence, which was mind-boggling to me.
It's weird how many people are just totally unaware of what went on, or
seriously
haven't seen the very, very clear and obvious video and stuff like that. That's it shouldn't even have been a trial. It should have just been. There should never have been charges filed. Even I don't know everything about it, but it's to me it seems like watching the video, you're this is. Why is this even national attention? This should have taken 5 minutes.
Shapiro was talking about the fact that this is strictly a political trial.
No
people tried him specifically so that they wouldn't have riots in the streets, which they still might end up having.
Right.
Let's hope not. But
you kind of have to assume there will be.
I hope not. There's 500 National Guardsmen out in Kenosha right now,
which is hilarious to me because that would have prevented this.
This whole thing would have been fine
if the National Guard was there when this was happening. We wouldn't
be a problem.
Would have had to shoot themselves and shoot someone in self-defense.
Yeah, that's exactly true. And so back up even further. If the media didn't completely lie about the Jacob Blake story, there wouldn't have been riots in the first place that the National Guard would have had to stop. There's so many faults on so many different levels. It was pretty clear pretty immediately.
Of whom is Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah. And then suddenly we tumble down the road of now this poor kid ends up shooting people. And poor people,
he's
too.
He's not going to be poor for long.
Yeah, he's about to be the richest man in liberal media.
So that's an interesting point, though, because, there was a moment in time, just imagine you're him, and you're sitting there waiting to hear what happened.
Yeah.
Like you are about to hear the verdict.
Mm-hmm.
Your life is going to go two very, very, very different ways in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
You are going to prison for the rest of your life, or you're going to be one of the richest people on earth. Free.
It's relative, yeah, to everybody else. Yeah,
I mean, think about it though. Like he's going to win. He's
all
going
of the
to win
libel
hundreds
lawsuits.
of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
He's going to win a lawsuit, most likely, against the sitting president of the United States.
That was crazy too. I had that pulled up. Actually, you know what? We'll get into it right now. Let me pull this up. This is a statement from the sitting president of the United States. Did you see this yet? For me, this is from like an hour ago.
Okay.
President Joe Biden issued this statement. While the verdict in Kenosha will leave many Americans feeling angry and concerned, myself included, I feel like we can stop there. Well, let me read on just so we're being fair. We must acknowledge that the jury has spoken. I ran on a promise to bring Americans together, yada, 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 yada. But he's saying Joe Biden, the president of the United States, issued a statement that said he feels angry and concerned. Okay. I would imagine one of the wokesters in his office actually wrote that press release and not actually him. But still, that's coming from the president of the freaking United States, who, by the way, has called Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist. He was talking to Andrea Mitchell, like, when this first happened. And she went on some leading questions. Now, given the fact that we know he has connections with the upper Minnesota white supremacists, or whatever she said.
That organized? The white supremacists.
We are going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole here. No, I think she was talking about the ones in Michigan who tried to kidnap the governor. Turned out several of them were FBI agents egging each other on. Where are we going? What's happening?
President called Rittenhouse.
Yeah, so the president of the United States, the sitting president, the guy running for president at the time, called Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist effectively. And yeah, he's going to have a lawsuit against him. Same thing with Nicholas Sandmann, who is currently the highest paid person in liberal media. And it's about to be Kyle Rittenhouse, given how he's treated in the media.
What, like that's just such an interesting like position to be in life, where like you like I'm honestly like, what I wonder is like, what's this kid gonna do for the rest of his life? Like he's very young
on his island.
He's gonna be very, very, very rich.
Did you say he's very dumb? How do you
very
know that?
Young?
Oh, very young. Yeah, no, he's 18 years old.
I mean, he's probably kind of dumb for running around with an AR-15.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, he's probably not the wise. Like, I wouldn't be in that situation. I know you wouldn't either.
This is the thing. This is the thing with this thing that I think everybody can acknowledge. Was it absolutely self-defense? Yes. Should he have been there in the first place? No. Here's a tip, you kids out there, whoever's watching on the internet right now.
Don't go running around with an AR-15.
Don't show up to a protest with a gun, and you won't be put in this position. Now, there's the argument that has to be said of, well, the cops weren't protecting these people's businesses. Yeah. Well, then I don't know. This thing is so difficult. We've got a couple comments. Do we want to get to these really quick?
Let's do it.
How
many?
Colonoscopy Jeff said, do you guys think the prosecutor might get disbarred? I don't think so. Specifically because he's a prosecutor. He was told to try this case, and I would imagine that he's putting on the best show he can. Like, the one interesting thing is the state giving the defense the bad video that they did. That actually will be interesting.
Yeah.
Not colonoscopy Jeff, different Jeff. By the way. Jeff says the prosecutor should have been disbarred for pointing a rifle at the juries. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, this dude waved direct. Yeah. So like he asked, is the chamber empty? And then didn't check it himself, and then pointed it with his finger on the trigger to the jury. Tell me you don't know anything about gun safety without telling me you don't know anything about gun safety.
Is it too early for Alec Baldwin jokes? Probably. But like come on. Like, yeah, like that. Like, I would agree with you. That's ridiculous. Like, how does that happen?
I don't know, dude. But yeah,
this whole thing is just a big head shake. Like, there's so much to talk about here, but it's kind of overwhelming just how ridiculous the whole thing has been.
How about we do this? Oh, sorry, continue.
That was it. This is overwhelming. There's so much that it's hard not to just go and shake your head.
How about we do this? Let's go into some. This is a weekly review. This is a week in review. All of the news that happened during the week.
Yep.
This is a condensed version.
We talked about 30 minutes that happened today so far.
So let's go back to Monday. What happened on Monday? Actually, I'll tell you what happened on Monday.
What else happened Monday?
So check this out. This is a clip from George Stephanopoulos. Colonoscopy Jeff thinks other Jeff is right. Both Jeffs I think have valid points. Other Jeff, non-colonoscopy Jeff, what's the sex of your colonoscopy doctor? If you didn't catch the beginning of the show, you have no idea what we're talking about.
I'm not sure they do if they did catch the beginning of the show, honestly.
Joe Biden had to get put under for an emergency colonoscopy. Is it an emergency? It's not an emergency. But Kamala Harris for 85 minutes was the most powerful woman the world has ever seen.
Well, she's currently the most powerful woman the world's ever seen. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I always wonder, how many other times does this happen, and do we know about all of them? My guess would be a big fat no. No. Is this the first time that Kamala has had the power?
I don't know, but there's also that I don't think Joe Biden gets the COVID shots live. I think he gets a placebo shot, especially at the very beginning too. I think they gave him a shot a week before they publicized giving him a shot. And that just makes sense from a national security. I'm not actually mad about people lying about that. That's just from a national security standpoint. That just makes sense. We don't want, especially at the very beginning when the COVID shot, nobody knew what was going to happen about it, and we didn't know what the side effects were. We didn't want to tell China, hey, by the way, our president could be knocked out from side effects of this thing.
At 4:25 p.m. on Thursday, we will be giving him a shot if anyone would like to attend.
So speaking of, let's get back on track. Monday, this is a clip from ABC This Week talking about Joe Biden in the polls that he's getting. Listen to this from George Stephanopoulos.
We're coming on the air this morning with a brand new poll, and it's brutal for President Biden. His approval rating has hit a new low. Only 41% of Americans think he's doing a good job in office. 53% disapprove. 70% believe the economy is in bad shape. And with inflation at a 3-decade high, only 39% approve of Biden's handling of the economy. Looking ahead to the midterm elections, Republicans have a 10-point lead among registered voters, their largest lead ever in the 40-year history of our poll.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
the largest lead ever in the 40-year history of our polls.
That's not good. But here's the thing. This is where we're gonna lose some of you folks because you may not like what I'm gonna say next. I do not care about winning elections. And what I mean by that is I care about policy and policy only. And what happens so often with Republicans and Democrats is Democrats constantly lose elections only after they pass this wildly ridiculous spending nonsense. Barack Obama got killed. Absolutely killed in 2010. But guess what? In 2008, 2009, before those midterms, he got Obamacare through. Guess what still exists? Effing Obamacare. So when it talks about, Republicans are going to take back the House and probably win a majority in the Senate, I do not care if, in fact, Joe Biden gets this nonsense of a boondoggle bill. It's going to spend trillions of dollars
with a T.
I do not care if Republicans took back the House and the Senate. Whoop-de-freaking do.
Seriously.
We just spent $5 trillion effing dollars that we don't have and we don't need to spend. Great. We won an election. Cool.
That's like if your neighbor borrows your lawnmower and ruins it. It doesn't work anymore. And then brings it back. And it's like, yay, I got my lawnmower back. But really, you have a big lawnmower problem to fix.
The rotor's broken, but here's your lawnmower back.
Right.
That's a pretty good analogy. Did you come up with that all by yourself?
I did right now. Right off the top of the old noggin.
Joe Biden's polls are terrible. You know whose polls are even worse?
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. How do you? Okay, I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this rant because we're on Monday right now.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris, I think, is going to get fired from the boss here.
That's right. So potentially will not be the vice president the rest of the time.
You know what also
we'll be
happened?
talking about that soon.
You know what also happened earlier in the week is this. This is a Twitter thread from, oh my gosh, I can't click the right thing. This is a Twitter thread from Bernie Sanders versus Elon Musk. Bernie Sanders tweeted, "We must defend, we must demand that the extremely wealthy." Hold on, sorry, let me get into character. I got to do. I am a very good Bernie Sanders impersonator.
I doubt it.
We must demand the extremely wealthy pay their fair share in taxes. Period.
That's not the worst I've ever heard.
That's not the worst, but it's not the best. I had a really good one earlier.
All right.
Anyways, Elon Musk then tweeted back to him, "I keep forgetting that you're still alive." Elon Musk is the world's richest troll. Then somebody tweeted to that response, said, "Bernie's the kind of guy that shows up to a potluck with no dish but Tupperware containers to take food home." And then Elon Musk said, "Bernie is a taker, not a maker."
I don't think I've ever heard that. Taker, not a maker.
It perfectly describes the senator from Vermont. But yeah, Elon Musk. So I really only wanted to bring this up, or only wanted to talk about Elon Musk to bring this up very briefly. Elon Musk moved to Texas recently.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big science technology guy. He's
also a big don't want to get taxed guy, which is why he's in Texas.
No. He moved to Texas because the weather. No. He left California.
No matter what he says, he is 17% richer now. And that's why he's in Texas.
What was I saying? Oh, Elon Musk, big tech guy, big education guy, big philanthropist guy too. Wants to keep everything rolling. Also, big troll. He's Elon Musk, having moved to Texas, would like to start the Texas Institute of Technology and Science.
I would also start tits.
I didn't say that. I said he wanted to start the Texas Institute of
That's the most Elon Musk thing I've ever heard.
If you don't know this about Elon Musk, the Tesla models are Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Model Y. Together, they spell sexy because that's what Elon Musk does. He's the world's richest 13-year-old boy. Elon Musk is the kind of guy that types in 80085 and turns it upside down on the calculator. And you're like, oh, it's boobs. But anyways, that happened earlier in the week. What do you have? I feel like I'm going through a lot of my stories. What do you have?
None of anything that we're currently talking about.
Jeff, was this colonoscopy Jeff? Yeah, colonoscopy Jeff just says tits exclamation point.
I would so good. Could you imagine the t-shirts?
Yeah.
What do you think the mascot's gonna be?
They probably, I can't wait for them to have a football team.
The fights song is going to be amazing. Like, oh gosh.
Anyways,
speaking of football team,
hey, hold on. If you have a hilarious comment, throw it in here. There's a lot of Jeffs going on. I'm not going to say your last names because I don't know if you want to be outed like that on the internet. But Jeff, Brian, Jeff, JD, who may also be Jeff. Lots of stuff going on there in the comment section. What do you have? What do you got for us? What happened in your week?
This is a total left-hand turn, but it has to do with football.
Okay.
I have two things that have to do with football, actually. We're going to take a vaccine turn here. A
COVID shot.
Yeah. So Antonio Brown, wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Former clown,
potentially still clown. Mm-hmm. Actually, almost certainly still clown. Now that I think about it. So he has been accused of using a fake vaccine card.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did he get it from his Dr. Rogers?
No, so he apparently his chef they're in a beef right now because his chef is accusing him of having the chef try and get him a fake vaccine card, which apparently he supposedly did not do, but he got a fake vaccine card from somewhere else apparently. Which to me, I don't care. Like, I do not give a crap about Antonio Brown being vaccinated. I don't care about any NFL player being vaccinated. I don't care about anyone else ever being vaccinated.
Yeah.
But it does bring up the topic of...
I think you should care, by the way.
Why?
The entire Packers football organization is now dead. Every single one of them who works there died because of Aaron Rodgers.
Actually...
oh, wait, sorry. No, that didn't happen at all.
No, yeah, not even
Everyone's fine.
Not only that, but you heard about the Chicago Blackhawks.
No.
The hockey team.
No.
So 100% of their players were vaccinated.
Okay.
40% of the team has had COVID.
Okay. I don't care. I don't care.
I don't either. I don't either.
Yeah.
It's just another example of how this is so ridiculous. Back to Antonio Brown.
Okay.
It brings up the question of like, if you can't enforce something, because you can't enforce vaccine cards, it's just a piece of paper. You can make one up.
No, those are totally legit. I don't know anybody who would even consider faking a vaccine card or a COVID test to see a concert on Saturday with his wife. Definitely not me. I wouldn't have done that ever.
Anyone with 2 brain cells, like the second you hear about like, oh, you have a little paper card to prove you have a vaccine, you're like, oh, well, people just fake that. Like, it's like if you can't enforce a law, like there is no law, there is no mandate, there is no nothing. Like if you can't enforce it.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. There's Michael Che. You know who Michael Che is? He's the other guy on Saturday Night Live. He's funny. He had a new special come out. And I don't want to steal his thunder or his joke, but it's pretty obvious what he said. You know, I needed to make sure everyone was vaccinated. So in order to get this into this concert, you needed to have a vaccine card or some cardstock and a printer. That would have worked too. Because that's effectively what it is.
Yeah, seriously though.
Yeah. So is his chef fired? Is he still a chef? How's that?
I would assume that they have parted ways.
Got it. But yeah. So what's the culmination of that? Does he have to go through any sort of NFL protocol?
I don't believe again, like I don't think there's any what is he broken? Like
I don't know.
I don't and that's the whole point of the thing. It's just like what okay, so we have a fake vaccine card. Who cares? Like
so colonoscopy Jeff, I'm sorry in case you don't like that that nickname.
I think you might like it.
If you're not aware, Jeff has a male colonoscopy doctor.
No, female.
What?
No,
oh, yeah, that's right. He has a female colonoscopy doctor. If you've gotten a colonoscopy recently, is your doctor a female or a male? Text us now in the comment section.
Female or a male.
Joe Flacco, he said, is not vaccinated. He's waiting for the backlash.
I doubt there will be. I doubt there will be one because
yeah,
I don't think anyone cares about Joe Flacco.
Also, this is from Leonard. Mm-hmm. The Texas Institute of Technology and Science mascot would be the Twin Peaks. I don't think I get that, Leonard. I don't think I understand the joke there. Maybe if somebody could explain it to me later.
The show is taking a drastically different direction than I thought it would when we started.
Oh, you want to talk about something awful? Afghanistan. Did you see this in the middle of the week? The DHS Secretary, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, was on the Hill testifying to the Senate regarding Afghanistan. And I got this clip. This is a terrible transition. We're just talking about.
That's what we do here. Terrible.
This is not a good show.
If you can't tell.
He said this to the so Senator Josh Hawley was asking, hey, are we like screening people? What, like 60,000 Afghan? So to preface this, you saw all of those clips of people getting onto planes in Afghanistan coming out of Kabul. Well, turns out it's just a bunch of random Afghans. They weren't really checking anybody's like when we're talking about those numbers, like, oh, we got 60,000 people out of Afghanistan. Yeah, the overwhelming majority of them were just random Afghans, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just anybody who could get through the barricade somehow got on a plane and is now living in Delaware. I don't know. But
remind you of any other borders?
Yeah, right. Somebody commented on the show when I was talking about that. They said, but did they cross state lines? Because that's apparently the only thing that's illegal in the United States anymore is crossing state lines. Kyle Rittenhouse reference. We're going to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse more in a little bit. But listen to this from Josh Hawley asking Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. I like saying his name. How many people are actually getting tested? No, not tested. Interviewed refugees from Afghanistan. Listen to this.
They are not being interviewed unless they're already in our system as a known terrorist. No. That would have captured none of the 9/11 hijackers.
If I may, Senator, that is not, and I apologize if I was not clear. You are correct that we are not conducting in-person full refugee interviews of 100% of the individuals.
What percentage are you conducting?
I don't have that information.
What number have been interviewed?
What we are doing.
Wait. What number of the more than 60,000 brought to the country? What number have received an in-person interview before they came to the country? Because you said 100% are screened. So what percentage have been given an actual interview by a trained official before they come to the country?
When you're speaking of a full refugee-like interview, I don't have that data. I will tell.
Why not? Are you not tracking it?
No, I don't have that data with me.
Why? I hear you. I understand what that means, but why don't you? Are you not tracking it?
No, we have data in the Department of Homeland Security.
I'm going to cut that off because basically you get the gist of it. He's just completely denying any responsibility for Afghans who are not being screened and just let into the United States because that's the way we protect our borders nowadays.
That's just ridiculous.
Jeff asked, how does he not have that data? Yeah, that's what we're curious about too, dude. And that's what Senator Hawley was curious about. And that's what Ted Cruz was curious about. Everybody's curious. Yeah, man, you run the entire department. These are the only things that you should know. If you're going to testify in front of the Senate, at least have your facts together.
Just like the absurdity of that is hard to even process.
Well, it's the problem too is like how dumb does he think the rest of the world is? And maybe he's right. Maybe his gamble is nobody's actually going to care about this. And maybe he's right.
That feels like a bad gamble.
Well, think about his side. How many of them are watching the news and picking apart all of the different testimony? Yeah. Not many. Yeah. So maybe it's a good gamble. If I were a Democrat, I don't know. Maybe I would love Jen Psaki's job. I would be the best. I would look, Governor DeSantis, Nikki Haley, whoever's running for president, maybe Donald Trump, whoever's going to win the presidency next cycle round, I can spin with the best of them. Ask me a question.
Where were you this morning?
You know, see, when we're talking about where and location around the American people, what we need to do is recognize the equality in the systems that revolve around our central focus. And that's what we're doing here at the White House. So when you ask a question like where, we have to understand where could mean a context of when. And when we talk about when, what the president and I are working on, what our team is working on, is the overall durability of the American people to overcome that problem.
All right, moving on.
That's my interview to be the press secretary of the United States of America. Somebody hire me. I can talk about nothing for as long as any of the other press secretaries can talk.
All right, well, if we're talking about nothing, let's do the most unimportant segment of the day. How about that? This sounds familiar. This part of the show is guaranteed to be the least important news you hear of the whole week. Are you ready for this?
Do I have a choice?
Are you ready for the headline?
Okay, go for it.
Kelly Stafford,
I don't know who that is.
Los Angeles Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford's wife.
Got it.
Apologizes for throwing soft pretzel at 49ers fans during game on Sunday.
I got to have more context. What did What did the 49ers fan do to deserve having a soft pretzel hurled at their head?
So here's what happened.
Was the pretzel mustarded?
I don't know what that
is. Because these are huge questions.
We're going to get into it, okay? All right, so 49ers and Rams played last Sunday. They are division rivals, if you don't know. Mm-hmm. Kelly Stafford, some of her friends and family and all that, were in their box at the game.
Okay.
Apparently it was like an open air box, not closed off.
Mm-hmm.
And there were I guess a couple 49ers fans next to their box, they wound up getting into some sort of verbal altercation. It's unclear.
At a sporting event?
I know.
No.
Rival teams,
Wow.
too.
Interesting.
Unclear what the altercation was about. It culminated when Kelly Stafford threw a soft pretzel at the 49er fan, striking the 49er fan.
I have so many questions.
Security was called to the section.
I would call it too.
And Stafford and her family were moved to another section.
I would call security too. This is the quarterback's wife.
I know.
If it was the right guard's wife, she doesn't have an arm.
No.
She can't throw. But Stafford's
yeah.
wife, Stafford has a cannon.
I know.
What if that has rubbed off on her?
Our cannon's contagious. No, but just have a lot of money. I would be looking to sue for pretzel damages.
You're right. And again, if the pretzel was mustarded and that 49ers
jersey,
was ruining the jersey, got
eye.
in the eye, there's so many things that
There's
could
so many
happen
things.
there.
So
Don't
many
throw pretzels at home. Now, I'm glad our politics hasn't gotten to that level.
Kind of feels like it has.
I think it has. Let's
Can you imagine just a pretzel fight breaking out
how
in the house floor?
How come you have all the interesting stories? I have all the hard-hitting news about President
That's your
Biden.
job. Hard-hitting news, entertainment. We divide this right down the middle.
I have President Biden now talking to President Xi. I also don't understand this. I don't understand why we continue in the media, in the United States media, to use the term president for people like Xi Jinping and
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin.
Yeah. King
dicta-
Xi.
Yeah, King Xi, Emperor Xi, dictator
Dictator
Xi,
Xi.
all of those. They use words like presidents to make us seem like they're assimilated to our
You
culture.
know who else was a president?
Who?
Saddam Hussein.
Yeah,
You know who
was
else
he
a pre-
really?
Yeah. You know who else was a president?
Who?
Fidel Castro.
Yeah, they called themselves president too. So
They
anyway,
called themselves president. They even had elections. There just wasn't anybody else on the ballot. Kind of like in China, where they have elections and there's nobody else on the
I
ballot.
don't even know if they're going to have another election because they officially
He's now the president for life.
well,
You saw that recently, right?
So 2 years ago, I think they eliminated the term limits for the presidency in
Right.
China. And then last week, what you're talking about is they officially voted to make him a historical figure on the same level as Mao and Deng.
Oh, that's a good role model.
Yeah. So, anyways, President Joe Biden had a Zoom call.
Before we get do they acknowledge like if you're a historical figure on the same level as Mao,
Mhm.
that's like saying you're a historical figure on the same level as Hitler, but literally 10 times worse.
Yeah.
So it's like, do they acknowledge that? Like, are they acknowledging that?
Oh, we're going to go
Are they
off into a
referencing
whole-
Mao or no?
We're going to go off into a whole other thing.
This might be a tangent.
Hitler gets way too much credit. Now, okay, just because there are dumb people out there, the context is Hitler was a terrible person. But compared to Mussolini and to Mao,
Minor leagues.
Genghis Khan, even.
Yeah.
You know how many people those guys killed?
A lot.
So many more. But apparently, the only evil person is Hitler. When you talk about like, oh, this president is Hitler, which is a stupid reference, and you got to grow up and make better arguments than that. But why isn't everyone saying, this president is the next Mao? Or
Yeah.
I don't know. Tangent over. So President Biden met with Xi Jinping over the weekend. Oh, Pol Pot. Somebody said Jeff. Colonoscopy Jeff says Pol Pot. Yeah, another great example.
Colonoscopy Jeff is killing it today.
Yeah. Jeff, sorry, again, apologize
Jeff, we will feature you next week as well if you change your Instagram or Twitter bio to Colonoscopy Jeff.
I don't think you should.
We'll send him a
Jeff.
t-shirt. We'll send him a t-shirt.
You can send him a t-shirt from your
Let's
t-shirt.
make
line.
him a t-shirt.
Jeff, I appreciate the interaction here. If you don't know what's going on, we asked at the very beginning if your colonoscopy doctor is the opposite sex of you. Jeff is in the category in which his doctor is a female and performs the colonoscopy on him. I'm not sure if he gets put under like President Joe Biden does and transfers
how many times he's had one.
transfer.
It's Jeff. You don't need a third colonoscopy.
We don't know for sure if Jeff gets a colonoscopy 2 or 3 times a week. This is what I love about the media.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is now we're going into this. All right. So let's play this unfair game. What do you pineapple on pizza? We can all agree that sucks, right?
Not only does it suck, if you think pineapple belongs on pizza, you suck.
This would be the headline in CNN regarding pineapple on pizza. Anthony Delio, podcast host, denies enjoying pineapple on pizza, making you defend. I was going to say beat your wife rather than pizza, but
yeah,
I didn't want to say that because that's a terrible analogy. But basically,
I stopped that.
Yeah. So, but basically, you're saying, Anthony denies broadcast reports that he likes pineapple pizza. Like, no, I never said I did at all. You just claimed that I did, and when I said I didn't, you said I'm denying it as if I do like pineapple pizza. Where are we? What are we talking about? President Xi, that was pretty much it. Joe Biden had a Zoom call with him on Wednesday. The funny thing was Peter Doocy from Fox News asked President Biden, so you're meeting with your old friend, President Xi. And Joe Biden said, no, he is not my old friend.
He's my son's old friend.
No, but Joe Biden said, he is not my old friend. And then the first line that came out of President Xi's mouth was, President Biden, great to see you, my old friend. International trolling with nukes. I don't recommend it. It's not a good idea, but dang it, is it hilarious sometimes.
That's funny.
What else do you have? I've got MSNBC. I've got Kamala Harris. Oh, I do really want to talk about Kamala Harris. I think she's getting fired. But
yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Talk about that. All right. I think Kamala Harris is on the chopping block when it comes to the presidency,
which I guess I didn't know was a thing.
Yeah, you can fire vice president.
I knew that. I just never. I don't think anybody's ever talked about it seriously. So
nobody's ever been this effing bad at being the vice president.
28% approval rating.
How does it even happen? The vice president, when Joe Biden was vice president, his approval rating was like sky high because the only thing you do is throw on your cool aviator sunglasses, throw some finger guns at people, and wallabadoo.
Try to keep your mouth shut.
And don't talk. But Kamala Harris, somehow, has managed to become terrible at being a vice president. She has a 28% approval rating, that's
insane,
dismally bad.
We should look up things with a higher approval rating than Kamala Harris.
Pineapple Pizza has a higher approval rating
significantly
than Kamala Harris.
Significantly higher.
Those people are crazy people.
Colonoscopies probably have a higher approval rating than Kamala Harris.
All right, the people that are still listening, and Leonard is commenting again regarding the pizza. Leonard was the one who brought us the great mascot for the Texas Institute of Technology and Science. But Leonard is commenting again. Leonard, when you get your colonoscopies... We need to stop. Kamala Harris, the vice president of the United States, I think is on the way out. The reason I think that is because so there's been a lot of talk that the president and the vice president have been butting heads. Kamala was not allowed to hire any of her own staff. So she's had a staff. She was the attorney general of California. Then she went on to become the senator from California. She has her own staff. And in the same way that Barack Obama didn't allow Joe Biden to bring his staff along, Joe Biden did not allow Kamala Harris to bring her staff. Yeah, so Kamala Harris's staff is Biden people, meaning that Kamala Harris's old staff is pissed at Joe Biden. And so they're making the rounds talking about how bad the president is, how they're not utilizing Kamala to her fullest potential.
We're all doing that.
Yeah,
we're not the only ones.
They kept saying like stuff like she's not using Kamala Harris to her fullest potential, which obviously is making President Biden mad. So the president and the vice president are butting heads. Jen Psaki then tweeted this thing out at 11 o'clock on Sunday night. Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, I don't believe in silent letters, tweeted this: for anyone who needs to hear it, Kamala is not only a vital partner to POTUS, but a bold leader who has taken on key important challenges facing the country, from voting rights to addressing the root causes of migration to expanding broadband, which sounds like a resounding endorsement. However,
all those things are a disaster.
If you were trying to get rid of a vice president in your own party that you picked personally, you wouldn't go out and say, yeah, she's really sucking at these. Yeah. You would endorse her for all of the things she's doing terribly. Yeah. As if that makes it that makes it better. But because Jen Psaki could have said something like, we fully support the vice president, but then she lists off she's working on the border crisis. That's terrible. Now all Jen Psaki did was remind people that Kamala Harris is screwing up the border. That's it. That's all she did. Same thing with the whole voting thing. Now, I happen to think that you should have an ID to vote, but Democrats don't agree with that.
Well, but you can't get one. You're brown. How would you vote?
You're right. I'm just too darn stupid to get a free ID from the government.
do agree with that.
But anyways, that's what's going on with Kamala Harris. And so I think there's a possibility that she could be facing some pretty significant heat from her own party. Now, I did want to play this. She was on George Stephanopoulos' show on ABC yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Yesterday's Thursday. In which George Stephanopoulos hit her with some pretty difficult questions that she did not answer well. Watch this.
You know that as Americans are feeling pretty sour about the economy as we head into the holidays, it's going to cost more to drive home for Thanksgiving, more to put the turkey on the table, more to buy gifts for the kids at Christmas. What can you do about these high prices? How long is it going to take?
Well, first of all, it's real and it's rough. Groceries, the cost of groceries has gone up. The cost of gas has gone up.
You made an interesting face during that. What did you think?
Well, they've been telling us it's not real.
No, it's transitory.
Right. Like they spent the last 6 months telling us, oh, it's not real. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Pay no mind to the rising prices.
Yeah. So
apparently we're changing that narrative.
No, that's changed now. Now it's real.
Now
They're
it's
acknowledging the fact that it is real.
Like, yeah, we know. We've been telling you this the whole time.
Yes, agreed, Vice President Harris. So she went on and did that interview. I want to play one more clip from that because again, it is not good looking on the vice president's behalf. Listen to this, and then we'll talk about more of the reasons why I think she's on the way out.
8 months ago, the president gave you the job of addressing the root causes of migration. But last month, we learned that in the past year had the highest number of illegal border crossings since they started to be recorded in 1960. What are you doing to turn that around? How long will it take?
Well, it's not going to be overnight. We can't just flip a switch and make it better. The reality is that we inherited a system, an immigration system that was deeply broken, and it's requiring us to actually put it back together in terms of creating a fair process that is effective and efficient.
What do you mean you can't just flip a switch? I could fix the thing in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, hey, send a bunch of people down there. Like, this is so easy to fix. It's not even worth talking about because everyone knows what to do. You go and you lock it down. That's it.
I don't think you heard the vice president. She said that we can't fix it in a day. She wouldn't lie to us.
It's a phone call. It's literally a phone call. Like, hey, National Guard, fix it. Hey, like Border Patrol, lock it down.
You broke it in a day. You might as well be able to fix it in a day. Remember, Joe Biden, the second he came into office,
it was one signature.
The second he came into office, he was talking about, or he signed an executive order that basically said, "Oh, we're going to remove the Remain in Mexico policy."
Wait! You're telling me he flipped a switch?
Yeah, no, he did flip a switch. That's a good point.
You turned it off, just turn it back on. Yeah. The power's still there. It still works.
That's no, seriously, that's a good point. Yeah. So Kamala Harris taking some heat.
Here's what's interesting about what's going on with this administration right now. I think we have gone from trying to convince us that things are good. Like it was, we're going to fix it.
Yep.
And it was trying to tell us that nothing was wrong. Now it's gone to just excuses. Now it's like, okay, it is bad. Inflation is bad. The border is a disaster.
There's nothing we can do about it.
We can't fix it overnight. Like we can't just stop doing what we've been doing. Like
I don't know.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. It's just a shame. Nothing we can do.
This is one of those things where like I am not a Trump fanboy by any means. Like I think in a lot of ways he was deficient as a president. In a lot of certain areas. I
think that butt cheek tattoo that you have of the president's hair would beg to differ with you. But anyways, continue on with your falsifies.
No. Like I certainly like him a lot more than what we currently have. But I'm not one of these people. I'm not one of these like Trump forever people. I'm not. I don't believe in a Trump savior. I'm not a QAnon person. Whatever. Like I truly believe that like when you look at, let's say, the supply chain disaster or the border crisis,
There's no crisis at the border.
If he was placed back into office today, I think 10 to 14 days from now, significant progress would have been made on both fronts.
Yeah.
Significant, if not problems almost resolved.
Yeah.
Plans in place, moving, actual resources of our government being used to fix these problems. And it's like, so why are we getting excuses from our current administration? They're not even anymore telling us that there isn't a problem or that they have plans. Just like, well, we can't fix it. It's like, well, the other guy could. So, like, do you want it fixed? Like,
well, so
get out of the way.
I understand too, and this is kind of going back to the polling question we had earlier, or the polling topic we were talking about earlier, is the fact that Joe Biden has dismal polling and is still trying to push through a bunch of stuff as if the polling were to suggest, no, the American people want this.
They want more of what I've been doing.
Yeah.
No, Joe.
No, dude. Yeah, the polling's pretty evident that you guys are doing a terrible job. Maybe we don't want the things that you're pushing on us. If you want to talk about the people have given us a mandate to do X, Y, Z, look at the New Deal. I think when FDR was in office, he had just won the presidency and had like 70 senators and like, I think 325 House members. Those are overwhelming majorities in both. And I think that the House only had, the House had 435 members at that point. But he had like 70% of the House and 80% of the Senate at that point. And like, no, that is the people telling you, go ahead and do whatever the heck you want. That is in one of the closest elections in American history at the presidential level, the smallest House majority ever, and a direct, even split down the middle in the Senate. That is not a please do whatever you want, Mr. Progressive President. That is a we don't agree on a lot of this stuff, and we need to take a hard look at anything we try and do that isn't going to be from a bipartisan side. So that is what it is. Let's see. Do you have anything else before we go back into Rittenhouse?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that's the main stuff that happened this week.
So the big thing that happened this week, a couple hours ago, Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted of all of the charges that were brought against him by the state of Wisconsin, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, regarding the shots that he fired, killing 2 people and injuring a third. He was acquitted of all of those because of self-defense. Now, if you watched the trial, that was not a stretch. That was like there's quite a bit of evidence that would suggest that this is pretty clearly self-defense.
I would go as far as saying overwhelming.
Yeah, no, seriously, it is an overwhelming amount of evidence to say, this is a lot. This is self-defense pretty clearly, from the video of him being chased through a parking lot, then the other videos of people throwing skateboards at his head, Grosskreutz, the guy who got shot in the bicep, pulling a gun on him and pointing at his head. Like, okay, regardless of how you think, if you're being honest with yourself at all, you have to imagine that this is...
In no way are we excusing the fact that he was there with a gun, which he shouldn't have been. He should have stayed home. But
so I will say, if you're 35 and you happen to own one of those businesses and you think that's what it takes because the cops are clearly not protecting your livelihood, I can understand that.
Yeah, but that's not what would but a
17-year-old kid
crossed state lines. So like,
we did it too. That ended up being fake. His dad lives in Kenosha. So like, there's that whole, like, I got so many messages from a bunch of different friends who, again, I like them. They take in media that continually lies to people. MSNBC, the guy who was filling in for Joy Reid on Monday was like, on the stand, Grosskreutz, the guy who got shot in the bicep, said that Kyle Rittenhouse shot him while his arms were in the air. And everyone was like, no, he didn't. He said literally the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, he said he shot him when he pointed his gun at him.
So if you're watching MSNBC, you would, and you come to that conclusion, it's not that far off to say, like, I believe that because that's what they told me, because they're telling people stuff like that. I wanted to play this clip. I've played it several times throughout the week. This is a clip from MSNBC, Joy Reid's show. Nobody watches Joy Reid. I think there's more people watching this garbage program than watch Joy Reid's pathetically terrible show. But Joy Reid's show was on MSNBC. They had the reporter on the ground, and take a listen to what that reporter said that people were saying to him.
The people who were protesting against what Rittenhouse did, do they think that he will be convicted just when they were talking to you?
Frankly, they don't. And part of this is pushing that. They think that they want to push and pressure the jury or pressure the court to hold Kyle Rittenhouse accountable in their words.
So in their words, people in front of the courthouse, protesters, told a national correspondent that we want to push and pressure the jury. Now,
we are breaking the law.
And is anybody going to get prosecuted for that?
I doubt they're not going to catch anybody.
Well, so George Floyd's brother was out there last week saying we need to be taking pictures of the jurors. Like, that's crazy legal.
Lord.
He said that on his own. They know where he lives. Is anything going to happen to him? It should. I don't think so. And just because making it clear that this is not a race thing, if, I don't know, Chris Cuomo said that they should be taking pictures of her, I would also say that, yeah, you should prosecute him too.
Yeah.
You should prosecute anybody who's trying to tamper with juries. I think that's one outside of like murder and rape. Tampering with a jury is I think the worst thing that you could do as an American citizen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the punishment needs to fit that, or else we're going to have more people doing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. So that's absolutely ridiculous that people were telling an MSNBC reporter that. Listen to this too. This was yesterday from the court. This is the judge. I don't know if you saw this, but MSNBC got kicked out of the courtroom. They were not allowed to come to the courtroom. I'll let the judge explain it, but we'll fill in some gaps if there's anything missed.
Last evening, a person who identified himself as James G. Morrison and who claimed that he was a producer with NBC News for MSNBC and under the supervision of a person, Irene Bayan in New York, for MSNBC. The police, when they stopped him because he was following at a distance of about a block and went through a red light, pulled him over and inquired of him what was going on, and he gave that information and stated that he had been instructed by Ms. Bayan in New York to follow the jury bus. The matter is under further investigation at this point, and the media has asked questions about it. That's the latest I have. And he was ticketed for violating a traffic control signal. He's not here today from what I'm told. I have instructed that no one from MSNBC News will be permitted in this building for the duration of this trial. Very serious matter, and I don't know what the ultimate truth of it is, but absolutely that's someone who is following the jury bus. That is it's extremely serious matter, and will be referred to the proper authorities for.
I realize halfway through these videos, I probably let them go on for a little bit too long.
No, I actually appreciate what he said at the end, because he talked about the MSNBC will be referred to the proper authorities or whatever he said.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We'll keep you up to date next week.
To see what happens there.
If anything happens next week, which it probably won't because it's Thanksgiving, are we doing a show next Friday?
I
don't know. I wonder if we'll be the only ones broadcasting.
I wasn't sure we were going to do a show this Friday.
I wonder if we'll be the only ones broadcasting next Friday, because it is in fact Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving. But yeah, no, super interesting. The not super interesting, super horrifying. Horrifying and interesting, terrifying and interesting, terroristing. No, that doesn't sound good either. But MSNBC reporters / producers are now following jury buses.
Yeah, you got to think that goes somewhere legally. Like, you got to think. I don't know enough about this, but that does sound so serious. Like, yeah, that sounds like such a bad look.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's not good.
That's
do you have anything left to talk about? Because I got one thing, but we got to close on that thing because it's funny.
I think that's the week.
That's the week. That's the week wrapped up. All right. Well, then you have to see this. I don't know if you've seen this yet.
Oh boy.
Have you know the show You? on Netflix.
I'm aware of it. I have not watched it.
Yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't. We watched the entire thing, and it's
we watched every minute of it. It sucked.
Yeah, it's a little woke, but this is a clip from Laura Ingram's show in which her guest is talking about the TV show You, and there's a little bit of a mix-up. There's a little bit of an Abbott and Costello mix-up here with Laura Ingram. Watch this.
To the politics and all those woke storylines in so many shows today. You know, I was watching an episode of You where measles came up.
Wait. When did I mention measles?
I don't know. It was on You.
Wait, what was on me? What are you talking about? Is Raymond even hearing what I'm saying? I never had the measles.
Was on You.
We never did a measles and vaccine episode. Is this a joke?
I know.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was on You. It was on You.
Raymond, I've never had measles. What are you talking about? This is stupid.
It was an episode of a show, Laura.
What's it called?
You.
What is he talking about?
It's called You.
I've never done a show on measles. I just completely give up. We got to get out.
It's a show called You on Netflix.
There's a show called Laura Ingram on Netflix. What are you talking
Never mind.
about?
I'm moving on to Adele. I can't explain this to you. The pop singer had an open.
So some people think that was faked.
Yeah,
I was
probably.
totally legit. That was 100%
Probably.
real.
Still funny though.
Yeah.
Still a good watch. It's like the band The Who.
Let me see. Anything else you have before we kind of take this out? What are your final thoughts for the day? I've got a final thought. What are your final thoughts?
Where do you? So I've been looking for one of these. Where do you find a dog with no legs?
Is that not a snake?
No.
Why are you in need of a dog with no legs?
I'm looking for a dog with no legs. Where could I find one?
You have to elaborate on that. You can't just say that's what you need and then assume that that's fine.
Right where you left him.
But so bad.
It's so stupid. Now that you just put food in your mouth, what were you going to say? What was your last thought?
My final thought is probably an inappropriate joke that may get me kicked off of everywhere. But
are you on anywhere?
I saw this on Twitter. I do not condone this joke in any way, shape, or form.
We would never.
But somebody else on Twitter said, if there are, in fact, riots over the Kyle Rittenhouse case, Kyle Rittenhouse will be there and ready to take care of them. That's a terrible joke. I don't approve of it at all.
The evening that got Kyle Rittenhouse in trouble is a great preview for the evening that may or may not happen this evening.
That's going to do it for us today. Thanks for sticking with us. If you have Colonoscopy Jeff, really appreciate all of the witty banter in the comment section. We'll be right back here next week, probably, maybe, especially given that it's Friday. I'm not entirely sure we will. But if we are, we will see you next week on this week's review of next week. I don't know. We got to think of a new way to
We need a name.
describe this show.
We need a name and a better show.
A week in review. Yeah, we mostly need a better show. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. God bless America.